How does your passion for studying history overlap into what you do in real estate?
The real estate business has always been known as a cyclical business, and it's basically a study of history. At some point, what goes up must come down, and vice versa. There are certain catalysts that can speed development when the time is right. That can help you take advantage of cycles, of historical cycles.
What did you choose to do for your master's thesis at Columbia University, and how has that undertaking affected your view of the real estate market?
I finally chose to focus on the history of the development of a neighborhood in Brooklyn called Flatbush. And I did that because I like history. I think it applies to real estate, and it certainly applies to the development of places. I could put them together and see what the reasons or catalysts there were in developing a specific area. So I chose a piece of property in Flatbush, Brooklyn, and I traced its ownership back to the King of England, actually the Dutch before that. And as it changed hands and developed through the years, what happened to it and why. And I tried to figure out in each stage until today, what were the real estate catalysts that were changing and are affecting its value.
Such as?
Well, such as in Flatbush, there was literally farms until 1890. And the subway wasn't really built until 1910 or 1915 there. But there was a road that was built, and and it was incorporated into the rest of New York City, and development was kind of encroaching, and there were certain things that forced it to not be a farm anymore and to start to develop. And I chose this block because there were so many different era buildings on it. There was one from 1900, and there was one from 1920, and there was one from 1930, and one from 1950 and 60, and so on. And I wanted to know what happened in each one of those decades, and when and why that piece of property changed hands, and what caused it to be developed. Because it's not always worth developing. Like right now, in this economy, very little is being built from scratch. Until land values come down again and the fundamentals get better in order that development makes sense, there's not going to be much new development. So what happened in that period, and what were the things that I could see at the bottom of that period to see when it would start to go up? That's what I tried to figure out through my thesis. I wouldn't say it was completely successful, but it certainly taught me about history and how places develop.
And so how does that apply in what you do today?
It allows me to think of things in the long term. I think my company in general is a long-term investor. I don't design things in my head to be for the short term. They have to be something that will stand the test of time. So if it's a retail building, I don't overbuild. If it's a residential building, I'm going to build it right for the market, that's appropriate. And I think that's how.
That's great.